Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. With the Season 5 Reloaded update, we got a lot of weapon buffs and weapon nerfs and overall meta adjustments, which means now the Resurgence meta is a bit more diverse, a bit changed from pre-Season 5 Reloaded. And so today we are breaking down 5 of the absolute best Resurgence loadouts you want to be running right now, in addition to the general top 10 that we just covered the other day. We're starting first with one that I've really been enjoying recently. It is the Razorback paired with the ISO 45. The Razorback, one of the more versatile weapons in the entire game. I mean, this thing is good in the mid-range for sniper support. It's good long range because it's low recoil. You pair it with an ISO 45, you got the close range covered. You're gonna have a fast TTK at all ranges here for Resurgence specifically. Real quick, before we get into the actual attachments and everything here, smokes on all my classes, throwing knives on all my Resurgence classes as well for those insta finishes. Perk setup is gonna be pretty standard: overkill, double time, fast hands, high alert. That's the same on every single loadout here today. But focusing on the Razorback attachments, like I said, this one is so low recoil, so predictable. True Game Data's MetaGen also recommends this as well. So initially, AIM-OP V4, that's my go-to optic. If there is an optic that you prefer more, always feel free to use that one. Go for comfortability over everything, of course. 60 round extended mag, you want this. The fire rate's fast. This will help, make sure you're not reloading in the middle of a gunfight. High velocity ammo, just better consistent feel over the mid to long range. The unique proto grip for better stabilization and stability and horizontal control. This makes this gun so easy to use. And then you pair that with the Komodo compensator, even more horizontal control. The pattern is like stray vertical and so simple, so predictable that you can just fry over long range of this thing and melt players. And I love the feel of this gun in particular. ISO 45 is like same old here. This setup has not changed in so long because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This thing dominates up close with mobility and TTK. So I go for the KT85 compensator just for some control. I do go for the irons here, so there's a little bit of bounce. This helps minimize that. 7mm laser, better ADS and sprint to fire. Sheer rear grip is also better ADS and sprint to fire. Cheetah stock, better sprint speed, crouch speed, strafe speed, ADS speed. So fast, so snappy. I love that. Then we cap it off with a 45 round extended mag. Very basic there, but necessary for all modes, right? I mean, you can't go wrong with either of these weapons paired together. They just dominate. Now, this next loadout is a bit of a strange one that takes some getting used to, but it is a little bit more high risk, high reward. I say that because it's the 7.62 Kastov, which is one of the higher recoil rifles. I don't think it's anything too crazy, but some players might find it to be more noticeable than others. But it pays off because this has the best TTK out of the rifle category. Then I got the MX9 secondary, an often overlooked SMG because it's capped out at just 32 rounds, which that sucks. I mean, it's going to be tricky to master this gun, but if you can master it, it's so good. Its TTK is phenomenal. Its mobility is phenomenal. You just got to learn how to squad fight with this smaller magazine and you're good to go. I also go for the Q900 rear grip for better ADS and sprint to fire. Just behind the face cam, I've got the C11 riser comb here for better ADS and sprint to fire as well. I don't like the AUG iron sight, so I go for a basic blue dot here, the Chrono Mini Pro. Then lastly, the S901 barrel. This makes it into more of like a mid-range, close range SMG with better range, better movement, and better velocity, which is nice to see. It's a pretty unique barrel, and I really like the feel of this. But slept on SMG, trust me, if you can learn to master this magazine, the MX9 hits. Then the 7.62, pretty standard setup here for the mid to long range. We got AIM-OP V4, 40 round mag, which seems small, but this is a small magazine, pair, I just realized here. But the fire rate's not insane here, so you don't run out of ammo all that fast. High velocity ammo, if you wanted to, you might be able to like drop this for one of the barrels, cast 10 for Resurgence, because the velocity is not as important in some of those shorter range fights, but totally up to how you want the weapon to feel. Ripper underbarrel for the better stabilization and control. Then Talon suppressor, better control, better velocity, better range, going to help out just with optimizing its mid to long range efficiency here. Very reliable, very consistent setup, and like I said, really the best rifle in general. Now, as we continue on with the loadouts here today, quick reminder, if you are new here, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. News, updates, loadouts, tips, you name it, it's going to be right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date. And if you do enjoy the video, if you find it helpful at all, do me a favor, drop a like. It would be appreciated. Also, quick reminder that right now G Fuel is doing their Labor Day sale, which discounts everything on the site. However, unlike usually, you can actually stack code Immortal on top of this discount. So you're going to get like 40% off everything on the site only for their Labor Day sale though. So definitely take advantage of these increased savings while it lasts. It is going to be expiring obviously after this weekend. So if you're looking to pick up a new tub, a shaker cup, a starter pack, throw in code Immortal at checkout. Link for that will be down in the description below. Now, this next loadout is all about TTK. It's not going to be an easy TTK to acquire, but if you can do it, no one stands a chance. Like, statistically, it's impossible to beat this, basically. It's the 7.62 Lachmann, which in full auto is the most broken TTK in the game, but it's hard to use. There's a lot of recoil here, so you're going to end up flipping between full auto and semi-auto for mid to long range. Then the Fennec up close, it's better than you think. It's doable on Resurgence here, I feel like, especially with like fast hands, you can get that faster reload. The damage per mag is noticeable here. Like, you're not going to be able to kill 3 people in 1 magazine and not have to reload like some of the other subs. You're going to have to reload, but at least in Resurgence, you're going to have the info and the ability to do so. And I mean, up close, it's going to be tough to beat this. It's got a surprisingly fast TTK. So on the 7.62, like I said, you're going back and forth between semi-auto and full auto. So AMOP V4 and 50 round drum are going to be very standard. Ripper underbarrel helps out a ton in general, but especially with the semi-auto version for the recentering, it's going to make it more consistent. For full auto, bore 490 is going to make this recoil pattern the most manageable it can possibly be, working on that horizontal RNG, and makes it a lot more predictable. Then the RAPP barrel also helps out with control and velocity as well. So like I said, it's a tough weapon to master. Spend some time with this in plunder and lockdown in the firing range. Really try and get that recoil pattern down, because if you can just land shots consistently, it's going to shred. And then up close, the Fennec, obviously you're just playing mad aggressive here, basically. KT85 compensator, there is some bounce here, so this helps minimize that. 7mm laser, snappier ADS and sprint to fire. The 45 round mag's the max here, and you have to run that with this fire rate. We got the rubber rear grip for the better ADS and sprint to fire. Then also the Loctite stock. This is better sprint speed, better ADS speed. If you wanted to, you could also try out, you know, the Assault 7. That's pretty decent for the ADS, the sprint. I would not use no stock on this because the recoil is going to be not manageable whatsoever, but you got some options there for sure. It's going to take some time to get used to the Fennec again if you haven't been using it, but it's solid for up close. Now this one's kind of classic. We got the M4 and we got the MP5 paired together. You throw back to Warzone 1, this was the meta loadout. It's not as effective here, the M4 at least isn't as Warzone 1, but it's still a really good rifle, low recoil, and especially for Resurgence gameplay, it thrives in that mid-range, right? This setup is extremely easy to use. We got AMOP V4 in the 60 round mag. You could use 45, but if you're playing trios or quads, 60 is going to be the safest bet for what it's worth. High velocity ammo, that better consistent hit reg feel, and that more reliable feel. I just love how this is going to affect any class from mid to long range, and that's why we're always running it. Ripper underbarrel, stabilization and stability. Harbinger suppressor is a heavier option, so the standard velocity and range, but also a little bit of added control in there as well, since obviously we're not using a barrel or anything for that. Helps keep the recoil predictable. It's a very easy, very straightforward rifle. Then the MP5, flying and frying, baby. Great TTK, great mobility, checking all the right boxes. 40 round mag, you could go up to 50 if you wanted to, but I feel like 40 is pretty sufficient in most fights. TCG 10 rear grip, tuned for the better mobility, so you get better mobility and better control out of this. The newly fixed mobile stock for even better mobility. 7mm laser, better ADS and sprint to fire. Then Falcon barrel, also better mobility with movement speed and ADS speed. So this thing flies, it's snappy, it's aggressive, and it's going to melt players. Like I said, it literally is checking the right box in every category. And then lastly, here we've got one of my personal favorites, the RAPP paired with the Vaznev, another TTK machine loadout. Vaznev has your close range covered with mobility and that fast initial TTK and that first damage drop off. RAPP has you covered everywhere else. One of the fastest TTK fully auto guns in the game, and it's surprisingly easy to use, especially with this setup. AMOP V4, TCG 10 rear grip for straight up better control. The 100 round mag, because you don't want to be caught reloading ever, and this limits that some a little bit more than the default magazine. You're still going to have to reload, but at least you can time it a bit better with this. The Hound 9G underbarrel helps out even more than like Ripper would with stabilization and stability, so it's going to make this gun even easier to shoot, and it's already relatively low recoil. Talon suppressor lastly to finish things off for the better control, better velocity, better range. This thing for the mid to long range is almost unstoppable. And then you pair that with this nice and aggressive Vaznev setup that hasn't changed in years, it seems like. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 45 round extended mag, True Tac rear grip for the better mobility, Atrazat stock for the better mobility, Olay laser for the better mobility, and then the Cast 1 barrel, not for better mobility, but instead to extend that initial damage range so you can still have that fast TTK for a few extra meters, and that could save your life and change a gunfight in your favor in a lot of different scenarios. So this is a great SMG alternative, and of course, you can mix and match all the standard loadouts that we've covered here today with the primaries and the secondaries. With that being said, that's going to wrap things up. Those are 5 of the best Resurgence loadouts to add into your arsenal on top of my general top 10. If you haven't caught that video, feel free to go and check it out. It'll be on screen at the end of this one or down in the description below. But if you guys enjoyed, if you found the video helpful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out as well to guarantee you are always up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.